Good afternoon, students. Hello, how are you? After a long time, we are getting here, and this is our first lecture. So, first of all, I want to introduce you our syllabus, and after that, we will see what exactly we are going to study in this chapter, in this whole year. So, exactly, we are going to see about history, what is the curriculum, what is the syllabus, and what type of particular pattern is there for the examination. Also, we will see the weightage of the marks, what type of question patterns we are going to face. These are all kinds of questions we are going to see. Now, first of all, I want to tell you, we have here three subjects: history, civics, and afterward geography. So, we are going to see first of all today history subject. In that, contents are there, that all contents we will see. So, today we are going to see here our subject is history. Mainly, if we see in history, that already we have learned that modern, medieval, and ancient, these three types of history. But now we are going to see, we are going to learn in this standard, in ninth standard, the post-independence period, means after independence, and also we are going to learn that pre-independence period. But while learning these all things, we are in a need of evidences, we are needed in a sources. So what kind of sources we are using for learning the history of post-independence of India? So in this period, we are going to see which kinds of sources we have. We already know that there are three types of sources: material, oral, and written. But leaving these three, other many of the sources were used in history to learn these all things. So first of all, I want to introduce you content of history. In this, we are going to see India after independence. You have to keep in your mind whatever we are going to learn in 9th standard history, in history textbook, that all things are after independence. 1961 century to 2000 century. So after independence, 1961 means after independence we are going to see whatever happened in our country. So few chapters are there. For the first semester, 5 chapters are there. See sources of history, first one. We are going to introduce the all sources which are necessary to learn the history, oral, written, or material, or any other books, magazines, or newspapers. All these things we are going to see. Then second one is there, India, events after 1960, whatever events took place for the empowerment of a woman, otherwise, or we can say improve the status of woman. So for that purpose, many were the incidents or movements took place that we are going to see in the second chapter. Now third one, economic development, how the India took the growth in an economical field, that also we are going to see in 4th chapter. And now next one, 5th, education. Basically in education we are going to study that what type of education we are getting in India, and what kind of reservation is there for which people, that also we are going to study from 5th chapter. Now, sixth one is there empowerment of women and other weaker sections. If we see in a society today also, elsewhere women have a less status than the men. The comparison which came from our Indian tradition, that but it should not be there, but still we are facing that problem. So we have to remove this problem from society. So the discrimination between the men and women, so this discrimination should not be there. We have to remove it, and for that, empowerment of women and other weaker sections. Firstly, we have to focus to increase or improve the status of women in a society, and also give them equal opportunity with the men as like a men. And also we are going to focus the weaker sections of the society, which sections, which peoples are there, they are backward still from their rights, from their basic needs, from their basic facilities. So we have to focus on the weaker section. Now next one we are going to see science and technology. What kind of role played by science and technology for the improvement of our country or development of our country after independence, that also we are going to see. Now eighth one chapter is there industry and trade. So which are the industries are there, what kind of industries means there, heavy industries, medium industries, or low level industries are there, small industries are there. Also the trade between two nations or trade between the states, and we are going to see the exactly how the beneficial trade is it will take place for the development of country. That also we are going to see, and at the last we are going to see ninth chapter changing life first and changing life second. These all points we are going to see in the history section, and afterward the civics we are going to see political science, India and the world. So few contents are there. I want to introduce you India and the world. So mainly if we see in a political science, India and world, in that post World War political developments, and afterward we are going to see that after World War what kind of political developments took place, that we are going to see in a political science first lesson. Then second, India's foreign policy, what kind of policies are there, what kind of rules and regulations are there for the communication and for the trade between two nations. So that we are, all things we are going to see in foreign policy. Also, what are the rules made by our government for the foreign relation, that also we are going to study in civics second lesson. Now third one we are going to see India's defense system. So how it works and what kind of weapons or artillery we have and how it works, that defense system, that also we are going to study in third lesson of political science. Then fourth one, United Nations, UNO. You already know that one of the organization is there, United Nations organization, UNO. So about that also the United Nations we are going to study, and India and other countries we are going to take more information, our neighboring countries and other countries, and international problems, how we are facing problems in our home, in our society, in our city, in our state, nation. Same many other international problems are there still, that we are going to study in the sixth lesson of the political science, India and world. Okay students, now we are proceeding towards our first lesson of history, sources of history. sources of history, the first chapter of history. So basically we can see, if we focus on this word sources, then we can realize, we can get a particular meaning of this. Now we are going to see first lesson. Till now we have studied the history of ancient, medieval and modern India. This year we have to study the history of India in the post-independence era. Post-independence era, after the independence, whatever moments or whatever incidents took place, or what kind of development occurred in India, that we are going to see in the first lesson. We can study history with the help of various sources like written sources, material sources, oral sources and sources in the audio visual medium. Audio visual medium. Audio visual medium. Visual medium. So what is this next one extra source that we are going to see? Audio visual. I want to tell you, many of the modern media we using today, in that internet is there, computer is there, mobile is there and also television. These all kinds of equipment give us audio visual source or information. The information which we can see by our eyes, or we can get information by watching, and also we can get information at the time with listening, that is called audio visual medium as a source of history. So in that, the modern period, we have to take a note of various sources at the regional, state, national as well as international level. We can write history with the help of these all sources. History, suppose you want to write anything or book or based on particular subject, you have to take the help of these all subject, all sources, means which all? Oral, written and material and also audio visual aid. Now first of all, we are going to see written sources. First point in our sources, that is called written sources. So what are the all sources are included in a written sources that we are going to see now. First point in written sources is newspaper. Newspaper in written source. Second one we are going to see postage stamps. Now third one we are going to see periodicals. In these periodicals means after particular time we are getting any book, magazine, means after 15 days, after 1 month, so it may be monthly magazine. We can see, we can get after 7 days, after week, 1 week. So these are all the periodicals we are getting. These are all our sources. Now next one we are going to see encyclopedias. Now next one is encyclopedias. encyclopedias. Now the next one we are going to see government gazettes. Government gazettes which were used for the keep record in the municipal corporation or in tehsil house or in a district level collector office or tehsil office. In these all sections they using the gazettes, government gazette. They also we can use for the reference as a historical source. Next we are going to see documents in the archives. Archives, the place where we can get more valuable or ancient books or reference book which are preserved and conserved into particular place, for example library. So next one we are going to see diaries. Many were the people's having habit to keep a diary and write the notes into it, and then these all types of diaries also we can use for as a reference of for the historical source. Next we are going to see reference books. Many of the reference books are there, dictionaries are there, encyclopedias are there, and the biographies, autobiographies, whatever all books are there, that books are we can use as a reference for the history, writing history. So documents in the archives, these all points are comes into the written sources. So you have to keep in your mind these all points, and now we are going to see next point into this. Just a newspaper are considered the fourth pillar of democracy in the modern period. In today's age, in today's period, we generally know that all people are saying that the pillar of democracy is a newspaper. Fourth pillar of democracy is called newspaper. So we are considering that newspaper is the fourth pillar of democracy. They are also major medium of information. One of the major source of information is called newspaper. If we consider the period from 1961 to 2000, we see that in the beginning there was no alternative to the print media, especially newspaper. With the liberalization and widespread use of internet in India, an alternative for print media became available. So yet the print media still continue to be powerful. So we can focus the 1961 to 2000 in this period. We see that in the beginning there was no alternative to the print media. There is no scope for the print media. But in today's age, we are following that print media means newspaper, and it is very essential and powerful medium for the spreading your thoughts into the society, into the people. So we are going to see now in detail about newspaper. Here it is, newspaper. We are going to see this one. So newspaper comes into the written sources. Through newspaper we can get information about national and international affairs, politics, art, sport, literature and social and cultural related to human life, cultural affairs, and also newspaper content matters related to human life. Most national newspapers have started their regional editions. In India, many were the newspaper started their regional editions. They publish supplements that give information about various topics. Which newspaper works on national level, they have their sub editions in local area, in regional area. Newspaper contain matters related to human life. Most national newspapers have started their regional editions. They publish supplements that give information about various topics, newsletters of various movements. The dailies and weeklies of political parties, monthly and annual magazines are important among the print media. So these newspapers publishes their weekly, daily, and also the monthly. These are the magazines also important into the print media. Some newspapers produce special supplements towards the end of the year that take overview in the important events of the year. Such supplements help us to understand the important events of the year. So whatever we are getting at the end of the year, this the magazine, in that we can see the all incidents from the whole year that we can get information about them in one magazine. So this is also one of the important and powerful source for the history. Now next one, in this also only we are going to say some newspaper produce special supplement towards the end of the year. So that we have studied now. Now Press Trust of India, PTI. Press Trust of India. So many of the printing presses are there. One of the trust is there for the printing or publishing the newspaper or for the magazines. So what work it do exactly, that we are going to see now. After 1953, the Press Trust of India has been an important source of primary details of all important events and articles on the important subjects. Press Trust of India has provided reports, photographs, and articles on financial and scientific issues to newspaper. PTI has now started its online service during the 1990s. PTI started using the satellite broadcast technology, insisted the teleprinters to send news all over the country. This material is important for writing the history of modern India. So while writing the modern history of India, we need the one of the important source, PTI. It publishes magazines. It gives financial help for the newspaper or for the publishers also, and it now modernized and it is now used or worked by the Indian satellites, and they spreading news all over the India. Now next point, we are going to see postage stamps. The postage stamps don't reveal anything on their own, yet the historian makes them speak. See, whatever picture is printed on postage stamp. Through that, historian can get a lot of information. So that we are going to see. Yet the historians make them speak. Means historian can get more information through the postage stamp. There have been several changes in the postage stamps since India became independent. Postage stamps reveal a lot to us about changing times due to the variety in the size of stamps, the novelty in their subjects and color schemes. So how postage stamps got changed after independence? They changed into the colors and photographs and in their size also, that we are going to study now. So one of the main point we are going to study the postage stamps. The postal department issues postage stamps on wide variety of the themes like political leaders, flowers, animal, birds, and an event or a silver, golden, diamond, jubilee, or a centenary or bicentenary or tricentenary of different events. It is therefore valuable responsibility of history that we are going to see now. Do you know, from that we are going to take information. Among the print media, the information contained in the annual issues of the publications divisions of the government of India is authentic and trustworthy. For example, the Information and Broadcasting Department published India 2000, an annual reference book. This reference book is created under Research, Reference and Training Department. It contains useful information about the land, its people, national emblems, political system, also defense, education, cultural events and the account of the developments in the fields of science and technology, environment, health and the family welfare, social welfare, media of mass communications, along with the basic data related to economics, finance, planning, agriculture, water, conservation and rural development, food and civil supplies, energy, industries, trade and commerce, transport, communication, labor, housing, laws and the statutes, youth and sports departments, etc. It is possible for us to write history with the help of such information. So whatever Indian government broadcasting or implementing or publishing one of the book at the end of the year, that book is very essential for the writing of history. And the next one we are going to see, Indian government issued the Jal Cooper stamp in 1977. Jal Cooper was an internationally acclaimed philatelist. For example, they have given what philatelist? An expert on the subject of postage stamps. So one of the expert, and his photograph postage printed on the postage stamp by Indian government. So born in a Parsi household in Mumbai, Cooper edited India's stamp journal. He was the founder of the first philatelic bureau in India, an office that collected stamps. He founded the Empire of India Philatelic Society. He went on to write many books on this subject. He gave a scientific bent to his hobby, and also the study of Indian postage stamps to the international level. Having started his career as a postage stamp collector, Cooper achieved the expertise of a philatelist at the international level. The postage stamp on Jarl Cooper is an important source of understanding his significant contribution to the field of philately. So Jarl Cooper postage stamp, we can see his picture also, and his collection, he has one of the very interesting hobby to collect all stamps. So he got expertise into this. So we got here little bit information about the postage stamps, how these are postage stamps useful for the getting more information while writing the history. Currently we are studying the history of after independence. Now next one we are going to see material sources. Now just we have studied written sources. Now next one, material sources, third one. So in material sources, what kind of material is there, or what kind of subjects are there that we are going to see? The first one is their coins. So whatever coins were used from ancient period, many of the students have the hobby to collect and study. We have a curiosity about them, and what exactly price and value is fixed on that period. That also we have interest about it. The next one is their ornaments. Ornaments, the jewelry which were people used to wear into the neck, into the ears, on head also. Crown also are there, crowns are also there. So these all kinds of jewelry which is used in the past and today also we using this also essential for the writing of history. Now next, places of worship. Now if we see, today we are going into the temple, masjid or church or elsewhere. So same as it is the places which were worshipped by the people into the past, that all places or temples or the many other things or caves where were there gods and goddesses, these all things comes into the places of worship. Next one, we are going to see things in daily use. One of the main point that what kind of things we are using in our daily routine. So many pots are there, or the vehicles are there, or maybe other things are there in whatever we are using in our home, or utensils are there, or books are there. what all things or material we are using in our daily life, in daily routine, that all comes into the material source. Royal seals. So, for giving a permission, for giving a orders, for giving a message, whenever in the past many were the kings, queens were using one of the seal or a stamp put on the paper or on any cloth that suggests this is a legal or this is a authentic document. So that time we are using royal seals. People also use royal seals. Today also we are using many of the royal seals. Stamps are there. So king and queens also many times use the royal seals. That also comes into the section of material source. Next one is there, museums. Many of the things were preserved and conserved in well condition into the particular house that is called museum. We will get so many artilleries and weapons and the models and the statues on and many other things. For example, skeletons or the part of the bones, many things which comes into the section of material. These all things we can get in the museums. That also one of the important point comes into the written sources. Now next one comes into the clothing. Clothes. If we see history of clothes, so one of the important point, clothes. So many were the people using different kind of clothes in according to their regional condition, according to their climate conditions. So if we focus in India, Rajasthan, if we focus in Kerala, if we focus in Maharashtra, each and every state have their clothing style is different. Now next one, modern architecture. Many were the temples, sculptures, stupas, temples which are carved into the stone, Ajantas and Elloras, Leni, you can see all temples which are totally carved into the one stone. That one of the main and that is one of the ancient sculpture. But today we have built many of the stupas and temples with modern architecture. So these all modern architectures also comes into the section of material source. Material source. Now in detail we are going to study the first point of material source is coin. We can also understand history with the help of coins and the changes in the printing of currency notes. Reserve Bank of India prints the notes. It has its headquarters in Mumbai. It has its headquarters in Mumbai. Then next we are going to see the coins from 1950 to those used at present. The metal used for making them, their different shapes, the diversity of subjects on them, together help us to understand the important contemporary issues in India. Whatever printed on the coins, the pictures, we will get to know more about our country, contemporary subjects. We will get to know more about our Indian country. Next one, diversity in India. So this diversity is brought in front of people through the coins and notes. Coins to convey the message to population control, and coins communicating the importance of agriculture and farms. Coins to convey the message of population control, and the coins communicating the importance of agriculture and of farms. So whatever communication is taking place between the farmers, and also is one of the message to control the population from country, coin plays important role in it. Now second point from the material source that we are going to see now, all museums. Second point is museums. All states of India have museums that depict the characteristics and display the cultural and social heritage of the state. Each and every state have their special different museums, and they display their culture and tradition of their related to their state. They enable us to understand history. For example, the Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj Museum at Mumbai, Reserve Bank Museum in Pune city. Apart from the government museums, some private collectors also set up their own museums. They are based on distinctive subjects. For example, coins, notes, lamps, and nutcrackers in different shapes, cricket equipment, etc. We also have a habit, many of the students and many of the teachers, to collect something and keep with you is one of the interesting thing. So many of the private sector peoples were also creating their own private sector museum apart from the government museum. Through the government museum we will get more information. It is enough to us to understand the history took place in particular place. Now third one, we are going to see the source, oral sources. In the main three sources already we have studied written source, then after we have studied material source, now we are going to study oral sources. If you focus on this word, oral means orally. Orally, whatever information we collect, that all sources called oral sources. These sources include folk tales. So if you know that already that our grandparents, grandmother were telling many of the stories about Ramayana, Mahabharata, also many epic stories. So these are the stories which comes from mouth to mouth or generation to generation. These are called folk tales. Folk songs, many were the people singing songs. And they don't have the record elsewhere in a written form. That all songs also were called folk songs that used into the oral source. Now proverbs, ballads and ovis in many of the festivals. Ovis also were used. Marathi verses in oral tradition. One of the ovis, ovya, we can see in Marathi, which are used into the Marathi verse. Activists were inspired by the povadas of Lokshahir Annabhau Sate and Shahir Amar Sheikh during the Sanyukta Maharashtra movement. The activists were inspired by the povadas of Lokshahir Annabhau Sate. A movement is going on and we have to inspire, we have to make them enthusiastic, energetic during the movement. That time, povadas and inspirational songs were sang. So on the best on life of Annabhau Sate, one of the povada sung by the Shahir Amar Sheikh during the Sanyukta Maharashtra movement. That movement we have studied in 8th standard. Now next one. Last source that we are going to study. Already we have learned 3 sources: oral, written and material. Last 4th one extra we are going to study now. This one. This audio visual sources. Television, films, internet are called audio-visual media. Many domestic and foreign television channels also come under this head. Example, History Channel, Discovery Channel and other channels which provides information about the health and about the tourist place. Many of the channels are there on television, on the film. So at a time we can see and we can listen information. That media is called audio visual aid. Audio means we can listen audio and visual means we can see the vision or picture, or we can see the one of the film. Film is not a particular film or one of the incident. So Film and Television Institute of India, we are going to take information. FTII. Film and Television Institute of India. The government of India started the Film and Television Institute of India at Pune in 1960 with the purpose of providing public education. The main purpose or objective behind to start the film institution or television institution, behind that motto is to provide public education. An institute called Indian News Review has produced various newsreels on important events in the politics, social issues, arts, sports and culture. This department has also produced various documentaries on prominent social leaders, on people who have made the major contribution for the country and about important locations of India. These news releases and documentaries are useful for the studying the history of modern India. Till now we have seen some important sources for writing the history of modern India. The times in the 21st century are changing so rapidly that even these sources will prove to be inadequate. However, new sources are coming forth. For example, during the transformation from the landline telephone to cell phones, a gadget called pager came up for the contacting people, but it died out as quickly as it had came up. The huge amount of information available on the internet is used for studying history, but the truth and authenticity of this information needs to be verified. Now it has become comparatively easy to study history with all these sources. As these sources are from the contemporary work to contemporary period, they are easily available. Since a subject like history touches all the aspects of our lives, efforts for the preservation of such sources are made to all levels. We should also contribute to these efforts. So here today we understood what are the sources are essential for writing history: written, oral and material, and the fourth one, audio visual aids. Now in next lecture we will see the exercise and their answers. Thank you.